Hi, Joy.
Hi.
Of course, I joined the chat, and the dogs wanted to have their two cents put in. So
They're working on all the bad stuff. That's fine with me.
yes, they're warding off all the negative energies of the mail truck. We don't like the government.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, hi guys. Welcome back to another episode of Flipping the Script. This is take 2 for us.
Take two. Hopefully there won't be a take 3, but the dogs are saying otherwise. So we'll see if we can calm
Yeah, it's
them
okay.
down. And yeah, they just wanted to add a little bit of their energy. All right, girls, come on. All right, calm down.
Let them.
Come on.
Let them.
We're all about releasing today. That's what we started
releasing.
talking about.
I barely was talking, so I was just discussing how I've been purging for the past like 5 days. So if anyone else is experiencing that, I can relate. I've basically been going to sleep crying, waking up crying, just probably bombarded by thought forms and just, even though I'm protected, but I had a realization that people go to retreats, they go to have ayahuasca and certain things, in the spiritual community to heal and to purge things out. And unfortunately, I don't have financial ability to do that. So I have to do it on my own. And my guides were telling me that that's basically what I'm doing. I'm doing what I need to do just so I can level up, there's no rhyme or reason. There's nothing to blame. There's doesn't need to be a reason, really. It just is not to hold on to it. Just feel it, let it go,
I think that we could make that a goal for you and I, because I don't have the finances to go to an ayahuasca ceremony either. But could you imagine if we could, get enough people listening to our channel or to our videos that they help us to get to actually meet each other in physical form. And I mean, that would be amazing. So I'm going to put that out there for manifesting that. Let's meet up at an ayahuasca retreat or something. It doesn't have to be ayahuasca, but something where we can
I'm not really sure I'm gonna do that, but I've done enough purging on my own.
I don't know that I would do the ayahuasca.
I would facilitate something like that with someone else who is an expert at it or something like that, but I would not want to partake because I feel like the purging that I'm doing now is enough, and I don't need to push myself like that. Like, it'll come out when it needs to come out.
Well, and it was just a weekend meetup. That would be awesome.
I know, and I live, like I said, I live literally in Joshua Tree, so there's many, 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 many places for us to meet.
I know that is one of my goals. I've done a couple of what do you call them? Where you manifest and you put it down like a collage.
Are we manifesting? Are we manifesting?
Yeah, I think that, because I've definitely, I can definitely see the redwoods in California. I can definitely see myself going to all these places, but right now I don't have the resources to do those things. So I just it's vision board. I've made many vision boards with Joshua Tree, and I mean, this is before we've even talked about any of this. Just all these places that Sedona and things like that that I would absolutely love to go visit, rent an RV or buy an RV if we could ever afford that, and just set out and make it a thing. So if I ever hit the lotto, I'm heading your way.
Well, yeah, but honestly, what you don't even it's look at it like this. Okay, look. Okay, this is, I don't know why this come to me, so we're just kind of going with the flow, obviously, guys. So hang on to your shoes or seatbelt or whatever you got.
We have a direction we're going
just
in.
Just flying by the seat of our pants here.
Our pleasantries first.
But no, really. Okay, listen. So what I did, if you want to go on a vacation and you want to go, let's just choose Vegas because it's really it's a destination spot. We'll just whatever. So if you want to go by yourself, you got to take time off work, have vacation time. You got to make sure you have enough money, for food and all of that. Now, I've literally experienced going to retreats within Alcoholics Anonymous because it was like AA retreats, right? And I've been to like 3 or 4 of them, which are awesome. I'm not even going to say anything. They're freaking amazing. But anyways, when you get that many people together, it's a lot cheaper. Because you room with people, and you're okay with rooming with other people, obviously, and then you split the bill, and that's how you make it work. It's less on the pocketbook, and less worries. That's how it's done. You do it in a group, because then you get a group rate and you get a group discount and so on and so forth. You have to, and obviously the people that are listening that have organized things like that, you can even throw your 2 cents in. Feel free, because obviously we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, I know.
We're just getting
I,
started.
I know. I have not traveled very much. I've been to, a few states, but, at young ages, so not on my own. So traveling is a little, it's new. I don't want to say scary, but it is a little bit like,
I worked for United Airlines. What are you talking about? I worked for United Airlines. Trust me, it's not that big a deal. There's literally a person that is our frequent flyer, like the person that has the most frequent flyer miles. And this person is a speaker. This person is literally on the airplane more than he's on the ground. Like literally. So it's like, it really isn't a big deal. People go on cruise ships. It's not that big a deal. I mean,
yeah, I've been on a cruise ship when I was like 16.
TV programming and the commercials you see is like this huge expectation, and when you get there, you're just like, it's pretty freaking disappointing. Like Mount Rushmore, for instance. Before, I'm sorry, and then I'll let you speak. I'm sorry, I'm just like
That's
so
okay.
excited now. But I'm like, I feel like I'm starting to come out of this last transformation. But anyway, so you go to Mount Rushmore and you're expecting to see this grand, huge carving on the side of the mountain. And when you get there, it's so tiny. You're like, God, it's so small. But on TV, because of the way the camera angles are and the way they can make it zoom in, it looks like it's right there. And literally, like the movie National Treasure, there's 2 where there's a lake right behind it. No, Sylvan Lake is not right behind Mount Rushmore. It's like way miles away, although there might be a room behind Mount Rushmore. I haven't seen it. So anyone that knows about that can comment below, please, too. So anyways, all I'm saying is what is it? Opticals? Opticals are everything? What is it? How does that go? Optics. Optics are everything, right? So yeah, go for it.
Yeah, but I would definitely love to just take a trip and travel. See, I'm not big into flying. I think I would prefer to be on the ground. That way, I can get a visual of all of it, and actually feel it. And because when I'm traveling anywhere, whether it's just locally um, or if I'm going state to state or whatever, whenever I'm traveling, I'm giving Reiki to the earth. Not that I can't do that from an airplane, but I just feel more connected when I'm driving and I'm just, seeing the trees and I'm just literally talking to them as I'm driving by. And I'm like, I love you, trees. Like, it's so weird. And then I always find myself in like the most random of places, and I know that that's because I'm meant to do healing in those places. So for me, I like to be on the ground somewhere hands-on and in control of where I want to go. So
Yeah.
that's definitely where I see myself getting an RV or some kind of, Winnebago or something where I can just get on the road and then see all those things. And so I've kind of already mapped out where I want to go and what direction I want to go in. Now it's just manifesting the ability to do it. My daughter's on board every time we see a RV. She's like, Mom, there's an RV, Mom, and like I've been working on manifesting that RV for the last 2 years. And so we see them all the time. They're everywhere. My Facebook feed and my, marketplace is like popping up with them all the time, like showing me. And so I know that's in our future. Just a matter of when, when we're going to make that happen. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think that my point was mostly that it's really not that big a deal. Like our minds make it like a huge deal, and we overthink things. And I am living proof of that. Like that is my brain, constantly just overthinking everything. Like there's nothing that goes in my mind that it doesn't overthink, and it's something that I really am trying to master. But yeah, traveling, it's really not that big a deal. And I got to be honest with you, I think that that is 90% of my problem right now, is that I've literally been here since 2015. I haven't been able to leave. My husband was able to go to South Dakota to take Becky out there. He went to Oregon for a reason. He went to Texas for a reason. You know, he's gone different places, and I've been here the entire time. And that's not me, man. I have been going all over the place since I was like a teenager. I was a runaway. You got to understand, I was always moving around. I went, I was hitchhiking with big trucks at 19 years old. Like I was gone on the road. And I got as far east as Toledo, Ohio, and you know, Texas up through Tennessee. Although I slept through most of it, I was doing crazy stuff with truck drivers. Not like that, because I was with a boyfriend. My boyfriend was with me at the time, and we were just crazy hitchhikers going all across the country. And yeah, that is who I am in my authenticity. And so the more, gosh, I'm like teaching myself here. Okay, so the more I'm like shedding like my old self, or transforming like the caterpillar, right? I'm becoming this butterfly, and I want to fucking fly. I want to go. And I think that I need to find something that is, as far as my relationship has been fulfilling. So I feel like maybe it's not that. I feel like maybe I'm seeking fulfillment, but it's going to come in a different form. Like right now, it's like I'm in the middle of this, like barely coming out of my caterpillar, and I'm just ready to go. Like I can't, because if I run and jump out of my cocoon, I'm going to fall and I might get hurt. I might get stepped on, right? So I have to wait and be patient and let my wings dry out, and stretch my legs out. You know what I mean? Like that is just the visualization I'm getting. Like, and I feel like we're all going through that. But the time will come for us where you can come here and I can go there. It's coming. It's just, it feels a little bit out of reach because we don't know how it's going to happen yet, but we need to be okay with not knowing right now. I feel like not knowing, being okay with not knowing. And that's like I told Joel, not to get into my privacy or anything like that, because out of respect, but I feel like, it's just something that we're looking at. Not that we want to be apart, not that there's anyone else that's not like that. It's just something that we're transforming. And I feel like, oh, sorry, I've kind of taken the floor, but I feel like he is going through this transformation, and I got confirmation on that too. So I just want everyone that's listening to just understand that right now, just be open. Yes, we're going to be doing what we want to do. Be patient still, okay? We want to hit the ground running, but we also need to understand that patience and taking your time is good. Setting the goal, like write this stuff down on paper, like black and white. Like I write a lot. Like I've written so much stuff out in like 7 or 8 notebooks. I just write everything. And I think that
I like to do the visualizations. So
yes, you were just talking about that. Yes, the vision board.
Vision board of everything that I want to.
I love this so much.
And
Go
that
for
is
it.
a way to like put that out to the universe. Like, hey, I'm putting in my call. This is what I
Or
want.
even
So now
scrapbook.
make it happen.
Yeah, like a scrapbook. I did that in college. One of my many visits to college. I've gone to like a lot of colleges. Sorry, but I loved it. I love learning. I was always looking to learn more stuff. Anyways, but I started a scrapbook, and it was basically a vision board on what I wanted to see. For that, you can be really specific. Like this was for school, so you could do a vision board for school, or write it down, or however you want, because we all learn differently and we all have different likes. So some people are going to want to paint it. Some people are going to write it. Some people, you know what I mean? Like, just be your creative self, be as creative as you possibly can, and be specific because you're the one creating it, right?
Yep.
You're the one that's making it happen.
I know. Whenever like the other night I saw a shooting star and I was like, what do I want to wish for? Like you have to know. Like, like new earth, new earth.
Half a million dollars,
You have to, like I need to be more specific in my manifesting, especially when I'm like, I want abundance, because then I wind up with a pile of laundry that's 2 foot high. And I'm going, I got an abundance of laundry instead of
I
abundance
can move mountains of laundry.
Well, that's another thing with money, that I think we all have this misconception of money, that it's something bad, and because it's been used in bad ways, but it's just a tool outside of ourselves. And so my fear of manifesting money and thinking about money and things like that, I think has caused a separation for myself. And
Hmm.
so when you think about money, green, and green with the heart chakra, we're talking about abundance is green, is coming from the same area. So abundance is really, it's us. So there's no disconnection there, unless we see that there is one. So we can use that as a tool if we choose to. And so that's where I'm at with trying to change my views on currency, and seeing it as myself as opposed to something outside of myself that's used for negative purposes.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. I mean, so that I just had like all this stuff want to come out.
Purging, more purging.
uh, but it's all good. I mean, it hurts. Like, it's really painful, and I feel like and that's okay. Not everybody has to go through that, and that's okay. If you do, that's okay. Your journey is your journey. Don't compare yourself to anyone else, because there is no comparison.
Well, if you think
There's,
about it, I mean, to get out of a pupa, or to get out of an egg as a chick, for butterfly pupa and eggs as a chick, you have to break through.
yeah,
You have to do a little work, and sometimes it's uncomfortable. Sometimes you can't see that there's something outside of the shell.
yeah,
Um, but
yeah,
it's worth it because there's a big world outside of it, and you don't even realize it because your whole world is in this little tiny cocoon, and you're thinking, okay, this is it. What's outside of there? It's all scary.
yeah,
It's all crazy. And once you get out there, it's like, what am I going to do? How do I fly? I've never done this before. I've been so small and so little for so long, and now I have wings and I don't know how to use them. And it's just a matter of breaking out and saying, I'm just going to do it.
yeah.
And so I think getting through that fear of what's on the other side, and then realizing that, we were the only ones holding ourselves inside this little tiny shell. We were
It's
the
all,
only ones that
yeah,
were keeping ourselves small and little. And the whole time we had the ability to fly. And here I am looking out of this big world going, where do I go? What do I do? And so I think that's where it's important to focus our manifestations and realize, okay, what is the small goal? And like you said, writing it down and getting a list of, what can I achieve in the next week? What can I achieve in the next month? What can I achieve in the next year? And then what are my long-term goals of things that, I can't see how those would happen, but I'd like them to happen. And so,
yeah, exactly.
being self-focused with manifestation, I think, is very important. So that's something that I need to work on.
Same. I mean, that's what we're doing now, though. So, like, we'll come back in a year and be like, what's changed? How much did you accomplish? Because it's gonna happen.
I know.
Whether
It's funny, when I first started in AA, my sponsor had me write down a list of things that I'd like to see, things that I'd like to see in my life. And it's been, I don't know, 11 years, 12 or 13 years, something like that, since I wrote that list. 2011. So what is that, 12 years?
yeah,
um so that I wrote down this list, and I found the list not too long ago, and looked and went down every single thing on it, and it had all come true. Every
that's
single
awesome.
thing had all come true. And I'm going, I didn't even remember writing this, and all of a sudden I found it, and I'm going, wow. I wasn't even meaning to work on any of it. That's the important thing too. Write it down and then forget it, and then watch how your life changes.
Yeah,
Don't focus on it, because that's the thing. When we're focused on trying to bring it in, we're trying. There's too much control. We need to let the universe do what the universe does and put it out there and let it go and stop trying to make it happen our way, because nothing is going to happen the way we think it's going to happen. And if it did, it wouldn't turn out as wonderful as it does.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, I did so much writing. Like, when I first got sober, I actually got arrested. Sobriety date is December 10th, 1999. 1999 was a big year for me. Me and numbers play a huge role in my life, huge role. But anyways, so I got arrested for the third time that year. And my guide said, my guides, God source, my higher self, me, my soul, I should say, had enough. And yeah, I learned so much. I wrote down so much, and I kept my box because I was in jail when I was in program. It was called RSAT, which is just simply Residential Substance Abuse Treatment Program. And I was one of 15 girls in all of Riverside County in California, which is pretty big, to get in this program. And I kept all of the paperwork for the longest time. And then I got rid of it in South Dakota. And I kind of regret a little bit because I'm a hoarder that way, honestly. I have a lot of attachment. I used to have a lot of attachment. I'm better now, but I used to have so much attachment. So I let it go. But just to look back on my mindset then and then compare how much I am now, like if you could just think back to how you used to be even a year ago or a month ago, for myself a week ago even, and see how much we have already ascended, how much we've already grown. And that is ascension. Okay, people, you're leveling up, your growth, your evolving, you're bettering yourself, you becoming more happy, you are ascending. We are actively ascending. There is no, it's gonna suddenly happen. I mean, that day could come. I'm not gonna say anything, okay? Because I'm not.
Everybody's journey is a little different. I mean, I had my wake up where I flipped, but then you go back and forth. And I actually just shared something on my Facebook about how progress is not linear, and it showed like a mountain where it goes up and down, and there's like pits and
No,
or
yeah,
valleys, and where you rise and fall, but each time you're getting a little higher. And sometimes you feel like you're down in that pit and you're down at the bottom again,
yeah,
and you don't realize that you're almost to the top of the mountain.
yeah,
um and so I see that when you just said that, a month ago, where I was a month ago, and it's like, oh my gosh, the shifting, it does not ever stop, and we're continuing to grow. And even though we feel like, oh my gosh, I've completely backslided, I'm way back where I was, 20 years ago, and it's going, no, you really haven't. You're not at the base of the mountain. You're all the way at the top. It just feels like it because you've gone into a pit, and you just got to pull yourself back out, and there's the top. And each time, you have that muscle memory, that memory, and you get like stronger. And so I have more strength, more resilience, and so I know where to go. I know how to pull myself out when I get into a pit of despair, or I'm doing shadow work and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just, I don't even know what to do with myself. But it's like there's so many things that remind me that I'm still awakened, even though I feel like I'm back asleep, and so stupid. um but there's so many times when I'm like, okay, I'm still seeing things, I'm still hearing things, I'm still going through all of these things that show me that I'm still on the right path. um but I still tell, like, it's my mind. My mind still tells me, like, you're failing, and it's like, no, I am not failing. I'm just, I'm just in a pit at the moment. Just got to
yeah,
get back up and pull myself out. And once you get out, it's like, okay, that was not quite as bad as it used to be.
right,
um we are a lot more resilient now, and I think we have that awareness, where before I was in complete darkness, complete sleep, and had no idea what was going on around me in the world and myself, and had no idea that I had any kind of control over it, that I had any kind of purpose or anything. I was just kind of floating in limbo. And now it's like, okay, now I know I have direction. I know where I'm meant to go. I know I have a mission here. And that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about today. If you want to, it's just what is our mission here? And for me, um, it's grid working and energy working and healing the earth. And I touched on that a little bit when we were talking before about driving and stuff. And I do find myself when I'm driving, and look here, I'm now taking over the conversation myself.
Oh, please.
But when I'm driving, I will, put my hands out and I'll see a power station, and I will, instead of seeing that as negative 5G and, all the radiation and all these things, I will hijack that signal and send love and light. And that's something that I do all the time. And my husband and my daughter, they just know now, like mom's going to do her weird thing. And she's going to put her hands up when she's in the car. And she's going to drive around with her hands on the steering wheel like a weirdo, like she's waving at everybody. These are things that I do. I'm sending Reiki, I'm sending healing, I'm anchoring in my life, I'm doing things as I'm going around. And I get lost, I get turned around, but I'm not really lost. Spirit's always guiding me, and the places I need to go. And it's funny because a couple weeks ago for my husband's birthday, we got in the car and I took them to breakfast. I took my husband and my daughter to breakfast, and we got in the car and we just drove. And my husband and my daughter were like, "Where are we going?" I'm like, "I don't know." Like they thought I had some plan. I had no plan. It was just spirit guide me. Spirit guide me where we're gonna go. And we wound up at Kennesaw Battlefield, which is like a Confederate battlefield.
Yep.
And oh my gosh, it was like I was going through a haze, like, but I was meant to be there. And on the way, we stopped at another site of a Confederate battle, in I think it was New Hope, Georgia, and just happened upon it. Like I didn't have any of these plans. We just wound up going to these places, and the whole purpose was for me to heal the earth. And I felt, a little selfish because it was my husband's birthday. We're supposed to be doing something fun, and here I am, light working through Georgia. And I didn't want to tell him what I was doing, so I tried to keep my hands down a little bit when I was doing the work. But
Yeah.
um, you know, but that's what I do. We don't have to travel far, just in our specific areas, where we're meant to do a lot of this work. And so I find myself in places where I'm finding Freemasonry lodges, and I'll find people that have stickers on the back of their car with the Freemason symbol. And instead of seeing that negativity, my purpose is to heal there. My purpose is just to bring the healing and bring the light, bring the truth, and to awaken those people that might be in darkness themselves, to awaken them, not to cause any pain or add to the hatred and the evil things that I perceive may or may not be happening. I don't know anything for a fact. I've never been there. I just have a feeling, and I feel the negative energies, and my job is not to sit in judgment. My job is to bring the light, to bring the healing, and bring the love, and neutralize it, and bring it to a place of neutrality. So that's a lot of what I find myself doing on a daily basis. Is just randomly driving places and randomly healing things. Sitting in the sunlight too. It like I'm a crystal almost, or not almost, but basically, like I need to charge. I need to charge in
Yeah.
the sun. I need to charge in the moon. I need to charge myself. I need to clear myself. I'm constantly clearing, constantly doing salt spray circles all around myself, clearing. Like I go out of the house, I come home, I'm clearing. Um, because I'm a receptor for these things, and that's a lot of what my mission is here, is to be that conduit, or be that vehicle, that vessel, that instrument that is used by God, so that I can bring that healing to this earth and to the people around me. And it's like I keep myself from going places. Like this week I've had to go to my daughter's school a lot, and there's just this frequency there that just puts me in this bad space. But I realize that I take away that bad feeling and I'm giving my good feeling. And so when I come home, I have to clear. I have to clear, and I'm like barking at my husband and yelling. And last night I was just going to town, like just yelling. And I said, don't speak, just don't say anything because I just need to release, just don't respond. And he started saying something back, like to start a fight. And then he stopped himself and he goes, why am I even speaking? You told me not to speak. And I was like, good, he's listening. Like he understands.
Yeah,
So there
it
was growth
sucks.
right there. But we do this, like we go through these things and we put these attachments on our mind. Our mind puts these attachments on things like, oh, I'm in a bad mood. No, I'm not in a bad mood. I'm just processing energies right now, and I
Exactly.
just need you to stay away from me. Like everybody just get away from me for a minute. Like I'm gonna feel this, and I gotta heal it through myself. And so it's not that I'm in a bad mood, it's that I've picked up some negative energies and I have to alchemize them. And in doing so, it might look scary and you might not want to be around me while I'm doing it because it can be a little, volatile. But once I release it, it's done. So it's like I have to let that negative energy out in a safe space where there's not other people around, because sometimes
Well, that's the
that,
hard part, dude.
yeah.
That's the hard part. And that's where my counselor has come in, where I have a safe space to just dump my shit, you know, get it all off of my chest and have a third party, And what's great about my counselor is that she realizes and acknowledges and validates that I'm an empath. She doesn't, oh, that's silly, nonsense. No, she acknowledges it and helps me embrace those parts of me that are very sensitive and I mean almost angelic, because most people aren't as sensitive or in tune with their emotions. And for me, now that I'm becoming more and more my authentic self, it is that, again, separating myself from the emotion before I react. And that part is super difficult with borderlines. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that, but there's literally zero separation. It's like I feel it, I act. There is no thinking, there's no pause there. And so it's been difficult, but I just try to tune into what resonates with me, because not everything will resonate with me when I'm like that either. I have to realize that I need to raise my vibrations, but sometimes that vibration out there is just too high for me. So I have to it's so weird. It's like I have to wait in a pool, like I'm waiting. It's so weird. And I'm just purging the emotions. And I'm just, like we were talking about the frogs in the water with the vibration, like we're just letting that vibrate out, vibrate out, vibrate out, vibrate out. And I'm just getting this visualization. And then once it's gone, it's gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
And then that vibration's higher. You go up to a different octave in your frequency, like, and then you're better. And like today, because of all the purging, I went from 0 to like 60, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? Like rainbows and butterflies. But I gotta just take my, and that also is part of borderline. It's basically like bipolar, but in hours and minutes instead of days and months or years even. So it's like exhausting. And so I exhaust myself in my head all day, and then I'm frozen and I can't get up. Like I'm literally in the same position for hours. It sucks, It's just it's a battle with balance right now. And then I
Yeah, like
also
a
have,
peanut butter.
that's my journey. And then I have quantum entanglement with my husband, just like you do, So and then I have his stuff to deal with. And I'm like, oh my God, he's right now, right now, like, not to interrupt, but I don't know how much time you have left.
Oh, I've got 20 minutes.
Okay, real quick, I do want to just touch on this for those of you that are going through this in your relationship. Right now is a time for separation, and I'm not saying if they're seeing someone else to hold, that's no, that's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is take your time and be okay to separate. Let them have their time and space if they need time and space, is all I'm saying. Like, if not to see other people or anything, that's not what I'm saying. So just take what resonates here, but listen to your heart, okay? Give people time and space, because we're all going through a transformation, and we might not end up on the same timeline. in the end, if that makes sense. Or we might, but we might catch up later, or everybody's different, right? Just take what resonates, but give people time and space. Like,
Well, I just want to touch on that real quick.
yes.
Listen to Your Heart is always the song that comes to me that brings me back to my husband. Always. And you just said that, and I was like, yep. It just triggered something. Stop. Calm down.
Yeah. And you know what though? For some people it's not. Like some people are seriously considering that, not that there's someone else in line,
Riley, stop.
but that the person they're with is not resonating anymore. All right. Or you don't know if they're the right one anymore. Not saying there's other people, but you can just feel it you can feel it. Like, I mean, I don't even know. Like it's tough. You need to really just pay attention to your heart and follow what excites you the most, you know. But karmic ties and soul ties can feel the same, you know. And some people will be confused over that, and it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to accept it for what it is. It's okay to be confused. I learned that being confused basically is your spirit trying to take over. Your spirit's trying to take over your mind like it's supposed to. You know what I mean? Like
Well, yeah,
your
when
heart
I'm
is supposed to be
confused,
in
is
charge.
don't do anything. When I'm confused and I don't know the answer and I don't know what direction to go in, it
Yeah.
usually means don't make a decision. It means sit still, wait for the door to open. Don't do anything. And
Be
that's where I've been in my relationship too, is
same.
you know, still doors aren't opening. There's been a couple of doors that come up, but those doors lead to nasty, nasty places that don't feel good. And, to me, I'm going, well, I'm either going up or I'm staying where I'm at. I'm not going to choose
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
that's going to put
Yeah.
me backwards.
Yep.
Um, so when I'm confused, it's don't make a decision. Don't make any moves. And that listen to your heart song, like whenever I'm in doubt, whenever there's an issue and I'm thinking maybe this is a karmic relationship, maybe it's not meant to be, maybe, whatever. All of a sudden that song will pop in my head and I'm going, listen to your heart. And I'm like, damn. It brings
Exactly.
me right back. And what that song's bringing me back to is this day when I first woke up in 2020.
Yep.
Maybe it was the beginning, maybe it was January 2021. My husband, me, and my daughter were all in our hot tub, and we were all communicating telepathically. We were all awakened for that one day. And the night before, I had my little initiation thing that I've talked about before, and I was told that we're gonna have a day in the sun, and that he was gonna forget all of it afterwards. He remembers that day and parts of it, and my daughter remembers that day too. But it was just the perfect day, a day in the sun. And that day was meant to remind me and bring me back that, it's not only that it's, that my husband is my twin flame, but that we're a trinity, that my daughter, myself, and my husband, we're a trio, that it's the three of us. It's not just me and my husband that's in this relationship. It's the three of us. We are our own little holy trinity, here, the divine masculine, divine feminine, and the divine child. And that song always brings me back to that moment. And so whenever I'm in doubt, that song pops in my head and I'm like, okay, there's more here. There's more here than I think there is, and I need to hold on. So that day in the sun, it always brings me back. It always reminds me, okay, you're on the right path. Just do nothing right now.
Yeah.
And I totally understand the separation thing, because in the summertime when it starts getting warm, or the springtime when it starts getting warm, in the summer, my husband works in the pool business and he's working 6 days a week, over 70 hours a week. So it's like we're having a literal physical separation. And I've been in my own head the last couple of days about fear of losing him, losing time with him, losing the connection with him. And so we've been, amping up, or I've been amping up for this separation. And, you know, I have to look at it in a different light. And like you said, it's not that we're lacking something in the relationship, it's that we have to
Yep.
find those things somewhere else. And so a couple of days ago, I was looking through my weekly ad for our city. We get like a little thing in the email,
Yep.
and it said Reiki. And there's a free Reiki meditation. That is a Reiki practitioner that lives close by, that is at a park, that does it every Monday for 2 hours, and they all get together, give each other Reiki, and do a meditation and ground and all these things. And I'm like, whoa, in my
That's
city, and it's free, and I can do that every Monday for 2 hours. Like, hello. So I'm ready for that. I'm going on Monday, and I'm so excited because then I get to physically be, with other people that understand what the heck I'm doing. And
exactly.
so I'm finding that, I can reach out in other ways. So that's going to be one of the things that I do, and
Yeah.
bringing my soul tribe to me. And I don't know these people from Adam, but I'm hoping that at least one of them is kind of on the same trajectory, to where we can have some kind of camaraderie and understanding. And it's so
Exactly.
difficult because
Yeah.
finding other people who are awakened to the same level or to a similar level, or who understand um, what we're going through. It's difficult. There's not a lot of us in the same areas, and that, I know that's for a reason. It's because we're meant to bring up those vibrations in the areas that we are in. And I think that's why we find so many people online. It's because we're all spaced out. But oh my gosh, could you imagine if I found someone that was like, "Hey, yeah, I've gone through an awakening too. Let's look, sit and look at the sun all day, and let's sun gaze." And to be able to have someone physically in this world where I can throw that back and forth, like we do over our podcasts, that I think would be wonderful. So I'm manifesting that, and hopefully, through this, I can maybe find a connection. I don't want to put too much out there, but I'm definitely hoping for that.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And one thing I did want to just to backtrack a little bit was if any of the listeners, if you're in a relationship and you don't know, and you're confused and you don't know if it's karmic or twin or whatever, because it's also understand that all the information that's out there it can be manipulated information. So please just take what resonates and move on. I mean, don't hang on to it, okay? So you can put whatever label you want on it. It's an intense relationship, and it's a learning relationship too. And it's two souls that have, made I hate to use the word contracts, but an agreement, a mutual agreement for learning and growing. And y'all usually come together when you need to learn and grow the most. Okay, so you could label it whatever you want. However, regardless of if it's karmic, if it's a twin, if it's a soulmate, if it's this, if it's that, regardless,
it's
you
all
can
meant to be
go
right
into
now.
meditation. Yep, go into meditation, and you go in and you ask him. You go into meditation and you ask his higher self or her higher self, their higher self. You go into meditation and you simply ask to bring his higher self, their higher self, her higher self to your attention, to give you attention. And then you talk to them just like you're talking to a human, and you ask them everything you need to ask. And you write down the answer, or the thoughts will come back to you and answer you. And if it doesn't, it will come back to you in a different way. You just need to be open, because spirit can speak to you in many different ways. So you got to understand, it could be words just like a conversation, like I did with mine. And I thought it was real. Like I almost messed up and talked about it in real life. Like it was so real to me. So you gotta yeah, you gotta understand that it is real. It is real, you guys. So you can talk to their higher self and see, share your thoughts, because it will go down to them. It will go down to them just like a waterfall. You know,
Yeah.
um, it trickles down.
Well, and sometimes it's safer to talk to their higher self than to talk to the physical self, because
Especially
you
because you're
know
already you're defensive and reactive.
yes. Yeah, well, I mean, if you're arguing in the third dimension, you're bringing yourself down to the third dimension. So really, when my heart is hurting, I get
Third dimension.
quiet. Yeah, it's funny because I get quiet, and when I get quiet, he's forced to raise his vibration to understand me,
Yeah.
if that makes any sense. So if I'm fighting, and our words, it's like the Tower of Babel, we're cursed to not understand one another.
Mm.
So my words come out of my mouth and they mean one thing, but his perception of them is completely different. So sometimes spirit just tells me to shut up. and keep my mouth shut. And so it's that we can't, we're locked into this battle of, you know, the wounded masculine and the wounded feminine, and we're fighting it out. And my goal, or my mission, not my goal, but my responsibility is to stop and raise my own vibration, get quiet, go inside, talk to his higher self, where we're, you know, we're in higher union, um, and discuss what it is that I need to discuss with him silently, and then his higher self receives that, and whether he can connect with himself in this realm, I don't know, but sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't, and I see him changing, I see him evolving, but it's at a different rate than mine, and in a different way than mine. And so when I'm sitting there going, you need to wake up now, you need to, you know, you need to understand, you need to do this, you need to do that. I'm trying to control his process, and that's not part of my contract, that or our agreement. Our agreement is that I leave him alone, and that he needs to evolve in his own way, on his own time frame, and that he's not going to get it my way. That we are not on, we're on parallel paths, but we're not on the same path. We're going the same direction, but we're not taking the same exact road. Sometimes our roads meet, and sometimes our roads go in different directions. And I have to be willing to let him take his own road, because he has his own lessons on those roads. And it's scary for me because he goes out of sight, and I feel like I've lost him. And I don't realize that up ahead is a grand reunion, that we're going to walk together hand in hand, side by side, for a few more miles, and then we'll separate again. And you know, we have to see that we're both walking up this mountain. I know I keep talking about walking up mountains. Maybe I need to get out there hiking. Um, but you know, but we're walking the same path, and we're walking parallel paths. Just sometimes they come together, sometimes they go separately, and we have to be willing to not drag them on our path, and not go down their path with them. And that's been my biggest issue, is that I want to be right there. I want to be holding his hand. I want to be, you know, if he's going down a dark path, I want to go down that path and protect him. And what I'm doing is I'm taking myself off my own path, and I'm going through things that I'm not meant to go through.
Yeah, you're doing his lessons. You can't do his lessons for him.
Yeah,
And
and then he's not learning his lessons, and then we're bound to repeat them over and over.
well, yeah, we can't do his lessons for him, for them, or for her. They have to have, you know, and my other BFF, Christina, has told me that too. I don't interfere with other people's lessons. And I had to really think about that. And that keeps coming back to my mind too, because we can't control other people's lessons, but other people's lessons don't need to be our lessons. You know, there's a separation. So if we feel like we're being drugged down the road and it's a bumpy road that's not ours, then we need to really be honest with ourselves, and be honest with your soul, be honest with your spirit, because God knows, your higher self knows, you know, if it's meant to be, if it's not. You already know. You already fucking know.
Well, and
The
that's
only
the
thing
thing.
you're
It
doing
might
is
not. It might
gaslighting
not be.
yourself. You're afraid. I'll be
Sorry, I didn't
honest.
interrupt.
No, you're fine. Go for it.
I was gonna say that's, and I lost it. What was I gonna say? See, I wasn't meant to say it.
Um, I hate it when that happens. It'll come back.
Yeah,
I was
when
gonna
it's meant
talk
to.
about oh yeah, when we were talking about healing and traveling too. See, my voice is going because I've been using it. But yeah, hold on. Let's just get a grip for a second.
Okay,
Let's
let's do
see.
a little woosah, a little mani padme om namah shivaya.
Fuck, it's self-soothing, you know. But
Mhm.
yeah, my voice is going. But it's like I've been using my throat chakra and activating my throat chakra, and yeah. Oh, look, the meditation I'm listening to is on the throat chakra. It's on blue right now, so that's probably why I'm probably getting activated. Sorry.
Just clearing out of that throat chakra. Well, we've got to wrap it up
I
in just
need
a second
to.
here, anyway.
Let's do that. We'll wrap it because I know you said Chelsea's coming home, and I know that Joel will be calling here too in a little bit. I hope if he's on if he's on my timeline today. If he's not, he's not. And that's okay. Just be okay with whatever, you know. Whatever happens, happens, and trust that it's for the greatest good, no matter what, you know. And when you have doubt, you know, get back to writing, write a journal, get back to your feelings, get back to your intuition, get back to your heart, you know, take your mind to your heart. I command my spirit to go from my mind to my heart now. I command my spirit to go from my mind to my heart now. You know, do commands on your spirit and see what happens. That was the other thing I was listening to, was to start doing spirit commands, and we'll get into that. I will share what I've learned. I'm not expert. I just am a humble student as well as
Well,
doing my
yeah, I
best.
mean, commanding, making commands, that's a form of prayer. And so, form of manifestation, prayer, whatever you want to call it. Um, so, yeah, we have to put our intentions out there, and stating those commands, that's putting it out there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I definitely want to talk about that on the next time.
All right, and we'll get into grids too, because I know you wanted to talk about that. So,
All right.
all
Well,
righty.
thank you. Thank you,
Have a good
anybody that's stuck
one.
around and that's still listening. And if you are, we love you very much.
And oh yeah, to get in touch with us, get in the drop or in the description below, and we will see you next time. Bye guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Love you.